I want to thank you being serious and also being a smart ass because
I thought it
you
was
sent me down a
anonymous.
fucking rabbit hole.
When?
When you asked me about moral injury, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know. And then all of a sudden I'm like, let me look into this. And then I realized that my entire dissertation is bullshit after reading 3 books on moral injury and about 45 research papers and talking to Dr. Wendy Dean, who discovered moral injury in human medicine. And so that's why I'm creating what I'm creating, because I think that explains, but it's a better explanation of the suicide rate in the profession. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Irreplaceable Truths. I'm Dr. G. Today we have part 2 with Dr. Bailey. She's an East Coast veterinarian, an East Coast girl. Love her. She is just blunt honest. She'll tell you exactly what's going on. She cares a lot about the profession. She is a badass. She owns 2 practices in the Annapolis area. I was very excited that you wanted to do part 2 because we had some things that we didn't want to discuss. This time I plan on being a little edgier, getting some more deep information. Most importantly, I want everyone out there to understand that we all go through the same things and we all get through it and we can all love this profession. Please stay tuned for the next episode. Okay, so moral injury basically means that either because of cost of care or someone in power, you go against every moral value you have in order to treat a pet. So that would be, I can't afford this surgery, I'm going to euthanize. I can't afford this, I'm going to euthanize. Corporate groups saying you're not bringing in enough money, or even the client saying, I know you want to do all this, but let's just do antibiotics.
Right.
So that's the whole concept of moral injury. It goes against the whole code, the whole oath we took when we graduated. The whole reason why we went to vet school was to help animals. And, for whatever reason, it makes you go against what you believe. And then it causes depression, anxiety, moral stress, self-injury, and suicide. No, it was first discovered in the military because it wasn't a diagnosis or a thing until after Iraq and Afghanistan. And it leads to PTSD.
I think it's interesting, right? Like, if you were to take 10 vets, like, I don't think everyone has the same feelings. Like, first, say me and this associate here, we could put 2 estimates together, and I'm like, okay, this looks like what it needs to be. I'm going to go talk to her. That's what we need to do. She'll look at the exact same estimate, and I don't know what it is that makes her say, God, this is expensive. What can I do cheaper? And I'm not saying like I'm wrong or she's wrong or I'm right and she's right, but what is it that kind of, because I'll look at it and be like, I know this is expensive, but it's also like what it costs. We got to go, like what's going. But another associate I work with, she'll look at it and she's like, I don't know if I can go in there with this. Like I got to find something to take off or to adjust. And I don't know, why is it different, between people, and how do we not tell that person, like, get over it, let's go. That's what it costs.
Well, with my discussion with Wendy Dean, she's like, "Oh, I have to worry about cost of care in human medicine." She's like, 40% of the people don't have insurance, and I'm like, every single exam room, drop off, surgery, you name it, boarding, you have to go over a treatment plan. Because I would say maybe 93% of the people out there don't have pet insurance.
I think it's getting more. So now we like add it to our alert system. So when they come in, it like pops up. And I think between my 2 hospitals, one hospital definitely has a clientele with insurance more often than others. And we've talked about it. Like, do we see ourselves going to, like, we're only taking new clients that have insurance? Like, is that something we want to do? Have you seen any of the things about that? Is that that's going to go?
Well, I've heard on the street that a lot of people believe that these corporate groups are in cahoots with insurance companies.
Oh.
That's kind of what I heard.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, a lot of insurance companies are dropping pets
Oh,
because of the cost
because
of
they're too expensive.
right. I mean, back surgery, like a disc out here in Southern California is now $20,000 to $25,000.
It the surgery prices for care have like been what shocks me the most. I know
Because
it's all expensive, but those are like the sticker shock. When I hear them, I'm like, what?
most surgical centers and specialty centers now across the country are corporate owned, though.
Yeah. I know. And today I was trying to figure out what our in-house lab cost should be, and there's no like standard, I feel like, for some of that. Like, I know what the little lights cost to put in the machine, but how do I figure out what that should end up coming out to be for the client cost? So I did send a message to someone at a corporate dental group, a corporate surgery group, and then a private surgery group. And the two surgery groups, one private, one corporate, were about the same. The dental group was actually about $30 to $40 more expensive than the two surgery groups. And we're all running the same labs and we're all, a mile from each other. So trying
Yeah.
to figure out that pricing sometimes is tough.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the rule of thumb is 2 times.
Right.
Some people say 2.5.
Yeah.
But I mean, even the in-house lab companies and the outside lab companies, their prices have become ridiculous as well. I would
Yeah.
always have my rep come in so I could negotiate certain things to be
Mhm.
affordable, and obviously have to sign a 3-year deal. But that didn't
Yeah.
mind. I loved IDEX. I loved my IDEX rep. I loved everything about them, and they actually did a lot of great things for my practice.
Yeah.
Um, versus Antec. I had Antec at first, and we always thought that the IDEX self help line at first was 1-800 eat shit, but
It's
but
funny. I like that.
then but then Antec lost their rep here, didn't replace them. I hadn't seen an Antec rep in probably 18 months. They upped my prices.
Yeah.
They changed the way they did things and were running tests without letting me know.
Oh,
Because usually, the rep would let us know.
yeah.
And so finally, I just started using IDEX, and Antec threatened me with a $860,000 lawsuit for
Oh,
breach of contract, even though I only had 1 year left with them.
yeah.
And I had already spent 3.5 times the minimum that was
Yeah.
required for me to spend with them.
Not
And
amazing.
and people wonder why, you know, they have to understand that veterinarians, not only are we having to deal with clients and sick pets and emotional, which is very emotional, but we have to deal with corporate on our own, which is they're basically looking out for their bottom line. More importantly, they're looking for their shareholders to make money.
Hmm.
And it's an ugly thing. But the good news is, at least I can tell you, the lab will work on you. You could tell the lab, hey,
Yeah.
I just want to run Chem 15s with lights and CBCs. That's what I'm going to do and everything. And maybe a pre-anesthetic like the Chem 10 lights, PT, PTT, CBC. What is the best deal you can get me?
Yeah. They've been good. We just redid some deals, our stuff with the lab companies, and IDEX has been really good to work with, and trying to talk to them and be like, we've got to find something better here. And I don't want in a month when January rolls around to find out now everything's 10% more. So it's a struggle, but I know you were starting off with a different topic.
No,
Sorry.
no. This is phenomenal.
The
I love
moral
it.
injury.
I
Yeah.
love it. I mean, the thing is that this is part two. Like part one was awesome. Part two, I'm going to try to make it a little more edgier for the listeners,
Oh,
because what I
what do you want
love
me
is
to say?
you have no filter.
I
So
do
we're going to have
too.
a good time. Yeah.
If I really didn't say the things I thought, uh, it'd be really bad. I don't cuss, but I've got a lot of
Well,
fun.
that's good. Well, that which is weird, because a lot of those cuss words are actually medical terms.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. Very good point.
Yeah.
But no, the moral injury thing is tough and it's hard, and I think for me, it's so like, it's not like this is the problem. These are the people it affects. This is how it affects them. If I took all of my veterinarians and my practices, like it's different for all of us, and we all have different personalities, and we all have like different home lives. And I think sometimes that's where that makes it tougher. Like, I'm like, come on, just, that's what it is. Like, move on. But that's not how it works. And so that's hard. And I mean, if you're trying to find a solution to it, like, I think that's awesome. It's hard. That's tough.
Yeah, the thing is, well, back in the day, for us, they just tell us to rub a little dirt in it and let's keep moving.
Yeah.
But I mean, society in general has changed. It's not just our profession. And it is what it is. Some of the societal changes actually, as a medical trained person, make zero sense to me. But there are other things that I understand. We just got to change the way we're doing things, or else we're not going to be happy. You look at Europe. The reason why they don't eat dinner until 10 o'clock at night is because in the middle of the day they usually take a 3-hour break, go home, take a nap, and then they come back and finish out their day.
Yeah.
That's why dinner's at 10 o'clock. Yeah, which, hey, that sounds like it's not too bad. I mean, I prefer to move to Europe and just take a nap all day and just go out and party. But I unfortunately can't afford to fuel up my G5 jet and get there.
Yeah. I know you're probably supposed to be in charge of this conversation, right? Or can I bring up topics?
You bring up whatever. This is your time.
So I heard this thing the other day on TikTok. It was a cardiovascular surgeon, I guess, and he was talking about this 93-year-old lady that had a cardiac event, and like they're on the phone with him that she needs some procedure, and he was like, "Does she want it?" And the person on the caller was like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "She's 93. Like, does she even want this procedure?" And in his conversation, like on his TikTok, I guess, recording, he said, just because we can doesn't mean we should. And it just made me think of cases I've had where people come in with their pets, and I've had to say, okay, just because we can do this, I can do this surgery, I can do more meds. Like, should we, or should we be we should be talking about quality of life. I know that, but how do I talk to you about that without seeming like I don't want to treat, I'm giving up on you, I'm pushing you aside? How do I have that conversation of just because we can doesn't mean we should? We should be having a different conversation at this point. And that's something I feel like I see more and more now and it's great. Like, if you're going to let your dog live to 15, 16 instead of giving up at 10 on a chronic condition, that's great for me. But I do think we get to a point where it's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, why are we still doing this? Why are we still doing appetite stimulants, fluids out of the skin, codeine for a dog with osteosarcoma that's already metastasized? Why are we talking about amputation anymore? Like, I think that's something that we need to make sure in vet med we're addressing. But we're also like empathetically talking to the pet owner, not just being harsh and cruel. We have to find the way to say, like, just because we can doesn't mean we should anymore. We need to have a different conversation at this point.
Well, I mean, yeah. Well, first off, I don't know. If we talked, I can't remember if we talked about euthanasia, but first off, I always make sure that it's the client's decision. I just give them the signs to look for, what to look for, how it should be. I also believe that age is not a disease. Mm-hmm. But you also have the beautiful thing is that we can discuss quality of life. And if you put, let's say, a 14-year-old dog through a major procedure, how long is it going to take them to recover?
Yeah.
How long are you truly going to give them after they recover? I mean, there are a lot of cases that I just said, okay, it's time for prednisone. You never let an animal die without the benefit of prednisone.
Yeah.
Ever. A perfect disease that I always discuss this with people, at least my clients, was Cushing's disease.
Yeah.
Like you diagnose Cushing's in a 13-year-old dachshund, let's say, right? And I'm like, well, we could treat this and get the Cushing's under control, but everything that the natural cortisol is masking is going to show up. So that back arthritis, it's going to show up. The allergies, they're going to show up. The appetite not being good, that's going to show up. And like, so you got to weigh the options, but it's never a decision that as a veterinarian, I don't believe you should walk in there and say, nope, your dog's too old, we're not going to do this. Goodbye.
Yeah.
I think it needs to be a crucial conversation you have with the owner, and you got to find out their goals. Like, what are they doing? Like, oh, I just want to keep Fluffy alive until my daughter comes home from college at Thanksgiving. Okay, that makes sense.
As long as it's not Easter.
Right.
But where are
Right.
we in the year?
Yeah. No. Well, we're coming up on Christmas
Yeah. No, I think
and
that's
Hanukkah.
yes, that's definitely a conversation we have for sure. I'll tell people, I'll say we need to make a decision soon. Like, and they'll say, well, what about next week? I'm like, okay, fine. Like, what about someone gets back from deployment in 3 months? I don't know if we've got 3 months. Like, that's too far. Do you use that HHMMM scale?
No, I don't.
Okay. You don't like it or?
No, there's a lot of things that have come out,
Mhm. Are
and
there better ones now that I should be looking at?
no, I just think
Okay.
you should be able to read the room. You know what I mean? Use your own personal scale. I
Yeah.
always do. Now, for early career vets, yeah, something like that might work. I don't know if there's other ones.
Yeah.
Um,
I use
but
in the sense I usually send it home with people and I'll say, this isn't black and white, but this is for you to take home and discuss with your family and to just consider more than just did he get up to walk outside to go to the bathroom and did he eat? And I was tell people like for some people this is really helpful. For other people it's not. But this hopefully just helps you consider all the areas when we're talking about quality of life.
now, does that also have on that scale? Does it also have what is your pet's quality of life doing to your own quality of life?
I don't know because that's one we definitely I know I've talked to clients about too. I just pulled it up. I think it's all in terms of the pet. Yeah.
It is, and
Yeah.
you
This
got to
one is.
understand the pet and the owner that it's a partnership. Like
I guess it
when it
does
comes
say
to
if when a healthy human animal bond is no longer possible. I think that's the only thing it says. But I think that's a good, a good just reminder because that's
yeah,
important.
it is a good reminder. I just hope that people don't go in there and say, "Do you have a healthy human animal bond?"
No, people don't do that, right?
Oh, they oh, I man, I mean, I remember doing senior clinics in in school, and of course the top 10 percenters of my class. I was in there one time, and they actually asked the owner, "Is your dog PUPD?" And I'm like, "Oh my gosh,"
Yeah, I
you know.
can't say that. They don't know what that
No,
means.
you yeah. Well, the thing is, and we had actually had a meeting, a veterinary meeting I was at on Tuesday night, and we were actually discussing that when we had a 2.5 hour discussion on mentoring and veterinary education. And the one thing that they really don't drive home is how to truly connect with the client or talk to them at their level.
Mhm.
What I always used to tell my new grads or new professionals was act like you're explaining this to your mom. Act
Yeah,
like you're explaining this as long as your mom is not a,
yeah.
if your mom's not medical.
I do it like if it was my brother, right?
Right. Someone who's
Like how
not
am I
medically
going to
trained.
exactly no medicine? How am I going to make him understand? And people are like, what would you do if it was your pet? And I'll say, well, that's not a fair question because I'm a veterinarian. So what I would do for my pet is different. Cost, like what can I do? Things are different. But if you were my brother, this is what I would say he should do. He's had 2 dogs. He has 4 kids. He's got a job. Like, so if you were my brother, this is what I would say. To tell you what I would do for my pet isn't isn't fair to you. So let's go a different route.
Yeah, and going off of that, you sent me a text I think last week.
There's so many times I've wanted to send you a text, but I don't really necessarily even want to reply. But then I'm also like, he's gonna think I'm crazy,
No,
and
go for it.
probably should just
Go
no.
for it.
There's been so many different things I've almost texted, and I'm like, maybe I just won't.
No, well, okay, let's start talking about them. Do you want to discuss that text you did send me?
What did it say?
There is a animal that had passed away at a different hospital on a Friday.
Yeah,
You found out on Monday, sent out your condolence card, and literally on Tuesday she came in with a handwritten letter discussing how disappointed she was,
yes.
or the owner was, that you hadn't reached out to her.
So we found out Monday. Technically, the card got mailed Tuesday, and we got the letter Wednesday. Wednesday was the day before Thanksgiving. So by the time I got the letter, it was like the following week. I did call her. She didn't answer the first time. I called back, and it came. What it came down to on her end. So there's always like the surface, right? Like what people write in their letter. And then there's like what actually happened. And then there's why it kind of boiled over into a 2-page letter. The dog, since the summer had been declining, probably could have been put down over the summer. And I think she personally struggled with the decision for months. You know, we're going on 5-6 months of should I put my dog down or not. So she finally did, and I think all this grief. And I think what set her off enough to write the letter was that when we called to say the ashes were back, the person on the phone didn't sound sincere enough in her tone. And that's what set her off to, I think, then spiral into everything else that became the letter. So the letter, what upset me the most, honestly, like if someone was not sincere enough, we can talk about that. But she called out the veterinarians for the veterinarians not doing this and the veterinarians not doing that. And so when I talked to her, I told her, you know, my concern with this letter is that as veterinarians, we did what we could. Like we have tried since the summer to help you. We sent a card. I'm sorry it wasn't fast enough. I'm sorry I didn't call you quick enough. But we also only have so much time in the day. We're trying to get to everyone that we can. We understand everyone's needs are the most important needs. But in the end, what set this whole thing off was the person on the phone's tone when it came to pick up your ashes time. And we talked about that some. And one of the girls that works with me, her family was in the funeral home business. Her husband is like a funeral home director. And so I was like, Kim, what do you do? Like, someone's ashes are back. How do you tell the family? And she said, we send an email. And I was like, send an email? Like, I'd probably miss it for a week. And she was like, well, yeah, because you don't know what someone's doing when you call them and you don't know how they're feeling. And so you send an email or you tell them to call you and ask for them like when they're ready. And I was like, I don't know if any of those sound like the right option either, but it's like you damned if you do, damned if you don't. This whole letter and the hours I spent on it probably really was because she needed help months ago in saying goodbye to her pet. And whether her family didn't support her, we didn't support her, someone didn't support her, the person on the phone set it off and then we got a letter. But I'm sure that I can't, it's the first time that's happened to me, but I imagine other people it happens to too. But the staff overheard it and they're like, what's going on? What's going on? I was like, this isn't for you guys to worry about. And not like I try to shelter them, but like one of the doctors was like, what did I do? I didn't like mail the card quick enough. And I'm like, no, it's not you. I don't want this letter to make you feel anything because you didn't do it. The girl up front's like, what did I say? I'm like, this isn't about you. We'll talk
No.
about it, but I don't want you carrying this baggage. Like, I'll deal with it. It's fine. But it's like not fair to the staff to have to spend like a minute of their time worrying about it, in my opinion.
Wow, you sound like you're a nice servant leader, Dr. Bailey. Unbelievable. I
I mean, I give you
I
like,
didn't think
are
that
you
would I
kidding?
didn't think that was possible.
Are you teasing?
I think it's awesome though. I mean, at least she didn't do what my person did, which was go on Yelp
Yes.
and
Those are,
say
yeah.
the care of my dog was great,
Yes.
but
That was a big letter.
cannot believe I didn't get a condolence card. And I'm
Yeah.
like, yes, everyone got a condolence card. My receptionist worked for me for 34 years. There wasn't one
Yeah.
of our clients that never received a condolence card.
We even like added to like our communication tab now, like card made on Dr. Desk,
Yeah.
Dr. Sign, Dr. Mail. Like now I could tell you exactly when it hit the desk, when it got back up front, when it went in the mailbox. My grandmother and I were really close and she passed away in February. And on the day of her funeral, yeah, my dad got it. We like, you do funeral things, you got to like go back to the house and all that stuff. My dad got a phone call from the final like assisted living, senior living place she was about a stain on the carpet in the bill, like the day of the funeral. And my dad's like cool, level headed, very successful, but like can also get kind of pissed, like when necessary. And he got off the phone with him and I was like, Dad, did they even send flowers or like send a person? And he's like, no. And I was like, well, Chewy will send flowers if your dog dies. And he was like, what? I was like, yeah, if your dog dies and you call and say, cancel this prescription, you're getting flowers like that week. I was like, it's not in our budget. I can't send flowers to everyone. But he was like, are you kidding me? I was like, no, I mean, at least like I feel like people don't realize how much we're trying to do. Like the funeral home didn't even send a card for my grandmother. She lived there for the last year of her life, or the nursing home. But if I don't get a card out in 48 hours, what's wrong with me? Like that. Do you see what, like, the difference there? Like the standard
Yeah.
we're held to is different.
Well, as Dr. Sheila McCullough told me in my senior year of vet school, she was like, you know what, G, not everyone that owns an animal is crazy, but all crazy people own an animal. And
Yeah.
I'm not trying to make fun of mental health, but it
No.
really, but it really seems like that's the case. Like, you do have, I would say a great majority of your clients are sane, but you do
Yeah.
have a majority of your clients that do not handle the death of their pet that well, or when their pet gets sick.
But I'm
When
sure they've told you too, like that animal's their best friend. Like they would choose that animal over their spouse, or their spouse is dead, and that animal is like that is their person now.
Right. Well, or it's the last connection they had
Yeah.
to their spouse, or their
Yes.
their heaven forbid their child, or
Hmm.
whoever. And yeah, I understand that, and and I don't want to say it puts the pressure on, but it kind of does,
Yeah.
because if you truly have empathy, then you understand exactly what this pet means to this owner.
Hmm.
There is no denying it. Like, and I, at first when I was younger, I didn't quite get it. I got it, but I didn't quite get it until I became a dad. Well, I got married, until I became a dad, until I lost my mom, until I lost my dad. Um, until I lost classmates, until I lost friends. Then you really start understanding how important that connection is.
Yeah.
When my dad passed, my mom, the only thing she really had was the cat. And it was amazing. There was this story still keeps me up at night. I don't remember if I told you this one or not. I had a lady who was living in assisted living, and her son said, "Mom, you're moving out here to Texas. We built you a guest house out back, but you can't bring your dog with you." And
It's like
so she came in to see me, and she
awful.
just for an annual exam or something, and she told me what was going on. And I said, "You know what? Don't worry about it. If you really need to get home to your son and they're going to take care of you, I will find the best home possible for your pet." And it was the cutest, sweetest Chihuahua, like 5 years old, like her best friend.
Hmm.
About a week or two later, she's comes and drops off the dog. About a month later, I get a call from her daughter-in-law saying that, thank you for taking the dog, and because of that, it brought her peace, and that old lady took her life.
Oh. Oh my God. Like I don't know that that was peace.
Well, it wasn't. Obviously, I wasn't
Yeah.
going to say what she had
No.
told me, but
Yeah, I
that
figured
still
that
to
was her
this
saying it,
day,
not your interpretation.
yeah,
Oh my
until this,
God.
I still think about that until this day, and I think that dog is still alive. We put her, we got that dog
Ugh.
into my associate's best friend since she was 5's house. She took it, and she's living with 3 kids and living the best life. The amount of outfits the dog has and all that. So at least I get peace from knowing that
Yeah.
we did that.
Yeah.
But but
Those
these are
kids
things.
suck. I'm
But
sorry.
these are things we live with in this profession,
Yeah.
and
All right. Can I tell you the opposite of that? That maybe I'll make my stomach feel better. Growing up, my parents had a beach house, and next door was a lady. Like she and her husband like lived there forever. They lived there year round. It was our beach house, and she had 2 dogs. Her husband passed away. She had a little dachshund and a bichon, and she was diagnosed with like terminal cancer, liver cancer. She didn't stop drinking. Like she's gonna live her life. And it was getting to be the end. She's doing hospice at home, and the family's all like, "Mom, what do you want with the dogs?" Like, I'll take Lily, I'll take Maggie, but no one would keep them together. And she was like, no, they stay together. They have to stay together. They're 5 and 7 at the time. And I was home for my freshman year of vet school, and I'd known her growing up, so we're over there, and I went to see her. My mom's like, you need to come say goodbye. It's probably soon. And I was talking to her, and she said, I don't know what to do with these dogs. Everyone wants to split them up. And I said, Miss Meredith, like, you don't need to worry about the dogs. If anything happens, I can take them. Like, it is fine. Please don't worry about your dogs. It's fine. And so we visited, and like teeny little Bichon and Dachshunds are so bad, but I love them now. And went home, and my mom, like, later that day, the next morning, she's like, Marianne, we need to talk. And I was like, what? She's like, Miss Meredith died last night. I was like, she's like, and the family wants to know if you'll take the dogs. I was like, what are you talking about, Mom? I said it to make her feel better. And she's like, well, apparently, she's like, you made her feel better. And I was like, so then I'm like, I killed her, but she passed in her sleep. She didn't take her own life, but so part of me was like, I was not ready to take on two little dogs. I've always been like a lab person growing up. But the family was like, we'd like to keep them for a couple of days. And then if it's okay, well, you can have them. And I had them until they each passed away like around 14. So like 7 years for one and 9 years for the other. But thankfully, I think the other side of that story is she had such peace knowing the dogs were going to be okay that, and I don't know that giving two dogs to second year vet students like the best idea in the world. But like after I got over feeling terrible that I like caused this lady to die, like it did feel good to know like, okay, she was able to let go. And that was the only thing she was holding on to. Her husband was already gone. Her kids were grown. She really was like waiting on these dogs to be taken care of.
Yeah.
And I did the best I could for them. I hope they had good lives as far as I know. But yeah,
Yeah.
I think both of those stories, yours and mine, although the ending is kind of the same, although by different means, it just shows like the impact and the connection people have with their pets.
I had 12 clients that left their animals to me in their
Oh
will.
my God. Really?
Yes.
Did they ask you first? Or did you find out afterwards?
I found out afterwards. But it was kind of cool because
Yeah.
they left money to take care of the animals,
Okay.
and because I'm a veterinarian that own my own practices, the way I did it is I found great homes for these
Yeah.
animals, and those animals got free care.
Oh,
But
that's awesome.
I started a fund that
Okay.
people who could not afford care,
Mm-hmm.
we could dip into that fund and cover the costs, not
Okay.
just base costs.
Yeah.
Like if an animal came in and needed hospitalization, let's say for pancreatitis, I would just take out the cost of whatever catheter cost me, fluids
Yeah.
cost me, blood work cost me. I wouldn't charge for hospitalization or my time or anything like that. But because of that, I was able to help a lot of animals, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
hoping that those owners are looking down saying, my goodness, I was able to do this. We had one lady that
I
passed
think
away.
I'm just gonna cut you off today. I think those are the stories, and you're not the person that is telling that story, so it gets on a podcast so other people hear it. Like I don't know you that great, but I'm gonna assume that. But I think those are the stories that like so many people that I see on TikTok, they're like, oh, it's just about the big vet companies and it's just about corporate and it's just like those are the stories that they don't hear because you also could have been completely justified, in my opinion, to still charge like the exam, the tech time, like all of those things that you weren't. But I think as a profession, we're not the kind of people that are going to do a TikTok that's like, let me tell you what I did for this pet out of a donation fund for like minimal dollars, right? Like, we're not going to do that. But the flip side happens so fast. My dog has pancreatitis, and guess what it's going to cost me to fix him? Because
Oh
that
my God,
vet is grieving.
all over the place.
But I wouldn't like you if you were if you were telling that story to make yourself bigger. Like that, I'm not
Right.
into that. But that's like the tough thing is like you don't get a chance to like put that side out there of like there's so much that we do every day that like isn't billed for and that isn't accounted for. Somehow if that could like just overshadow all the like little negative things that are out of necessity.
So how do you handle negative Yelp and Google reviews?
um the right way to put it, like most of them are about the person and not about me. So I try to remember that. But then I'll read it and I'm like, hey, office manager, like, can you pull up, like, who is this? Do you know what this is about? Can you give me some backstory to look into it a little bit? I love, like, the 1 star and no comment. So typically I'm like, Mr. Jones, sure it's a fake account. Like, we can't seem to find you in our system. If you'd reach out to us, I'd like opportunity to discuss, like, what happened. Some of them are just like crap. Like, you look it up and you're like, no, this isn't what happened at all. And so I'll take the time to explain. If they are justified, like someone screwed up, I try to just be like, Miss Smith, like, I'd call them first, try to have a conversation about what happened, and then follow up on the review of, like, as we discussed on our phone call, I am really sorry about, the mix up with your medication. We've already reviewed it with our staff to change the protocol so this doesn't happen again. We appreciate your, continued trust with us, or something. Yeah, I think so. Like, I think you got to handle them differently. I don't take them personally because I think I told you, like, my 4-year-old yells at me and tells me I'm like a bad mommy because I didn't put 4 marshmallows instead of 3 in our hot chocolate. So, like, you're not going to hurt my feelings, but I think you got to, like, take them for what they are, look into them, and then address them as appropriate. But if you're going to take it personally, you need to assign that to, like, someone else to deal with.
Right.
In my opinion, I'm no expert. You apparently read books and talk to people, so they could tell you how to. What do the experts say you should do? Am I doing it right?
I mean, there's no right way or wrong way, but the biggest problem I have is that the younger, the younger millennials, the Gen Zers, they are on their phones all the time. They're on social media and then they're reading reviews, I'm sure, about them. And the problem is a lot of these veterinarians that are just early in their career are thrown into situations with poor mentoring, poor leadership, maybe even by themselves, and they're getting absolutely killed. And I usually tell them, hey, it's just a Yelp review. I mean, that they could also take you to the medical board as well, so just if it stopped as a bad Yelp review, let it go. But I always tell them to use bad Yelp reviews for fuel to your fire. Like if they said, oh, they didn't talk to me long enough, just remember that in the back of your head. So next time you want to leave the room, you're like, okay, or do you have any other questions?
Right.
Is there anything
I
else
think
you
that
want?
question is huge before you leave the room. Did I answer all your questions? Did you have any other questions? Like, I think just that goes so far.
And if you're running behind, one of the things you could say is, listen, I know you probably have some questions. Write them down and email them to me so I can answer them for you.
Well, I won't do that. Don't email me.
Oh, yeah.
How many times did you email me before I replied?
I have no idea. But the thing is, like, I have my RVT reaching out to you. So
that's true. So I don't email because I know that's not a good way for me to communicate. So
it isn't.
Oh, I mean, it depends on the day, but no.
So tell me what you think about this, because I really want to do this study. And I brought this up with one of my associates that was on my podcast. He owns his own practice up in upstate Washington. I was like, I would love to do a study, and I would love to get owners' feedback, have the veterinarian explain it by word, but also have the veterinarian write an email or a text message to you as well and see which one is clearer.
Okay.
Because the thing I love about email is that they can keep it. They can always go back to it. They can read it over and over and over again. If only their only communication is you in the room and then that's it.
Yeah.
You're going to have about 15 messages from them with different questions.
Yeah.
But
when do you do that? Like, when do you email?
When do I email? Like the thing is, like, I mean, you and I both know we have a little bit of downtime. And now with AI writing up records, we should have hopefully a little more downtime.
Yeah.
The problem is that this only applies to privately owned practices.
Okay.
Corporate owned practices, if you have downtime, they're going to try to fill it with some other procedure, appointment, or something, because that's what the Excel spreadsheet says to do.
Okay.
But if you have your own private practice, like, it doesn't take long to read an email really quick and respond to it. And even better, you can take that email, dump it into chat, say, respond to this, read what chat wrote, and reply it. Done.
Oh, that's a good point. So you and I are not the same person, but
No.
so do you think, and I'm not saying this like, I'm asking this like openly, do you think you have more downtime because you do relief than I have downtime as like an associate
No.
with like,
I haven't emailed anyone since I've been on relief.
oh, you haven't? Okay.
No, this
Okay.
was during practice.
Okay.
When I'm on relief, I take as much freaking time as I want in the room or talking to the client.
Do you?
Oh
Okay.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Do
Because
they
what are they going
care
to
if
do? They're
you're
going to
running?
fire me.
Well, that's true. No, that's a good point. Well, how long were your appointments too? So if you're talking about like when you were in general practice.
Okay. So the way I set it up is I had 20-minute appointments
Okay.
at
So
my
we're
one
30.
practice. Oh yeah, I had 30 at the other. When I would
Okay.
work in my other practice and I had 30-minute appointments, my body was still accustomed to the 20s, so I'd always have a little extra time. But I was
Okay.
also the guy that had made sure I had two techs, or at least a tech and an assistant per doctor,
Yeah. Okay.
and I would make sure that they did as much tech stuff
Mhm.
as possible.
Yeah.
I would
Okay.
never trim nails. I would never pull
Yep.
blood. I would never put in a catheter. I would never, you know, I would let the techs go do their thing. So I'd come back and say, hey, Puffy's up in room 1. It needs blank, 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 blank. I knew them. I trusted them. I trained them. So they would go get blank, 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 blank
Mhm.
done. I go to my office, write up the chart. Boom. As soon as the dog's back up front, the chart's written up, charges are in, the person's on their way, and it still would give me time. I would still have time to do stuff.
Okay.
There are days, you and I both know, there are days that you do have white on your appointment book, right? There's no there's breaks, and if that's the case, you got to be smart with how you use your time. You
So
know,
I I want a break in my appointment day.
right?
I am very popular, apparently. I'm very good at putting. No, I don't know. Like, I don't have any breaks today. I did break. I had to put a block in for this to make sure I get it done. But then I added an extra 30 minutes, so I had time for my phone calls. But I don't have any breaks. And so I think this is where I struggle is, um, like, we have 30-minute appointments. Some of them today were slightly easier than others. So great. I've been, like, trying to go through my phone calls and blood work. And I know you're a big component of, like, doing those digitally if you can. Like, totally, I get that. Where I struggle with email is I'll sit down to do my emails. If I have an email from a client and I email them back from work with like the pet's information in front of me, but then I go home and they've emailed me back, but now I'm at home and I don't have their information and I'm like pulled in 8 different ways. So do I just wait till Monday to get
Well,
back to
no,
them?
no, just say, hey, I'm out of the office for the next couple days.
Yeah.
If this is really urgent, call the office.
Yeah.
Like, or you're, or I'll just get back to you on Monday. And then usually
Yeah.
like, okay, thank you. Have a good night. I mean, my clients never took it. My clients never took advantage of the fact that they could reach me by email.
Yeah.
And I also am the type of veterinarian that looks at my top 10% of clients, and
Yeah.
those top 10% had my cell phone because I'm
Well,
not
yeah.
stupid.
Yeah.
10% of your 90% of your business comes from 10% of your clients.
Yeah. That's
Period.
fair.
So I knew, but those are also the clients that would bring in cake or pizza or
Oh,
Christmas
yeah.
gifts,
They're the
or
ones they know what school your kid's at and they know,
exactly.
they
So
know
I
what
would
to
have
focus
no
on.
problem with that. And I only had one client that took advantage of that, and I just told my phone finally just start ignoring it. So I
Oh,
never
okay.
got her text or anything, and she
Yeah.
finally ended up going somewhere else. So I'm like, fine, there's someone else's problem.
Yeah.
That's fine by me. But I'm also a big proponent for your type of clients that you see are the ones you accept. Like
Yeah.
if someone comes in and is like, "Oh my
That's a
goodness,
good
this
point.
is my fur baby. Don't hurt it." Red flag. I know I'm not going to be the vet for them because
Yeah.
I understand. Don't get me wrong. Like I love my pets as much as I love my wife and my kids. So, but I never will call them a fur baby.
Yeah.
Would you call yours a fur baby?
No, the one that comes to work with me, I call her Bad Dog.
Bad dog or dad dog?
Bad Dog. We all call her Bad Dog. It's another dachshund. I mean, after the other one. She's Bad Dog. That's what we all call her. Even the kids will be like, Bad Dog. I don't. I will not call mine for babies, but I probably will say it about someone else's. Or if they say it, maybe I'll go with it. I think I don't know. I guess I like calling people about some stuff. I don't know what they prefer, but I think I do like calling them. And
Mark
I guess
Cuban, Mark
that,
Cuban and Warren Buffett will never get on the phone during the day because
yeah,
it puts them so far behind.
really?
Yep. I'm just letting you know. I mean,
Yeah,
if you really want to get on the phone,
yeah,
block time.
yeah.
Block time so you can get on the phone. But you got to realize you got to think, which hat am I wearing? Am I wearing my entrepreneur hat or am I wearing my doctor hat?
Well, is your email like? Did you keep work email and personal email separate, or did they all end up in the same place?
No, work and personal were separate, but
Okay,
they would all come to the same inbox on my phone.
and that wasn't a lot for you to like scroll through. Like St. Mary's has posted a new assignment, and then an email from my dad, and then an evite for Christmas party, and then Miss Smith wants to know about Fluffy's results, like that. That changing of
Well, the thing is that, like, if you use Google for
yeah,
Gmail, for
yeah,
example, Gmail, you're able to break it down, and
that's true.
you could say, just show me the emails for my personal, or just
Okay,
show me the emails for work. And I mean, and you can just go through it.
yeah,
And I mean, the thing is that,
and maybe I
you know,
should look into some of that AI, like you just mentioned, like
correct,
and throw it in
absolutely.
an
But
email.
do you know, I actually got a Yelp review, 5-star Yelp review, because this person went on there and said, I don't know if you guys will ever find another veterinarian like this, but he emailed me from his daughter's soccer game that said, hey, I'm at my daughter's soccer game. Can I get back to you on Monday? And that impressed him so much that from my
Just the
daughter's soccer game, I just sent him a quick email.
mm-hmm.
I mean, because it doesn't take time for an email.
Yeah.
It doesn't. You're not sitting there, and that awkward, how do I get off this fucking call?
What do you do about like abnormal lab results? Would you still email that?
Yeah, I would. Absolutely. And the thing
Okay.
is that's so cool is that when it comes to abnormals, IDEX obviously, well, you can actually, there's an actual section that it explains, there's
Yeah.
a client explanation. But I still think that the problem is that, like, let's say elevated ALP in a dog.
Right.
You and I both know, like, an ALP of 146 probably is nothing.
Right.
Nothing. But what I would say is, hey, this one liver enzyme was a little elevated. There's many different causes for this. Let's just recheck it in 30 days. Boom.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, good. You know, but if I get, hey, the kidney values are elevated, I need you to come in, get a blood pressure. We need a urine. I need to see what the urine protein is. You know, we got to figure out if this is kidneys or something else. Next thing I know, a technician would be in back checking a blood pressure on that dog.
Yeah.
So and it's kind of hard too, because again, going back to that whole euthanasia and the ashes coming in, you don't know what clients are doing. What if your client is an attorney and she's in the middle of a court case,
Yeah.
right? And then she's not going to be able to get back to you until about 5:50, and you close at 6, and you're like, and then all of a sudden it's 6, 6:30, 7, you get home. And, you know, and it's not about the balance. I hate work-life balance. It's about the sustainability of your professional life. And
Yeah.
you got to figure out what works for you. So the one thing I always tell people is, if you want to try something new, you got to give it 3 weeks. Just try
Mhm.
it. Create an email and just say, and just, you can link it to your IDEX account and just try it. And
Yeah.
especially if the lab works normal. Okay, let me ask you this. If lab works normal, do you call those owners or do you have someone else in the office do it?
No, usually I'll shoot that as an email for sure.
Okay. If there's something that's just a little abnormal and you want to check it in 30 days, do you call that client or do you have someone else do it?
No, I'll still do that as an email.
Okay, you will. Okay.
And so one
Now,
thing I did actually do is the email that it like has you reply to, I stopped making that my email and I made that the hospital email. And that's better for me because then it'll go to the hospital and they can say Dr. Bailey's out on Monday. I'll make sure she gets this message. And that's been good for
right.
me to
Also,
not to get lost.
right. And so every associate at your hospital should have their own lab sign in, and
Yeah. Yeah.
you can actually set up a separate email for each one of those sign-ins. So if Dr. X logs in,
Hmm.
Dr. X will get that response to Dr. X's email.
Yeah.
So And I got all my associates on it as well, and they loved it.
Yeah.
They loved it because it opens up free time. Because if they do still have questions about the lab work after you send it to them, like I said, you can nowadays. I didn't have chat when I was doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, I would just put in chat, say, "Give me a quick response," and you could say, "Make it professional," and then boop, it goes back. And I mean, a lot of people can say what they want about AI being wrong. Do you know
Yeah.
how many times I've had AI being right?
I've had to do a lot of stuff for me lately.
Have you tried taking pictures of X-rays just for fun? Of
No.
And then take pictures of X-rays,
Yeah.
and then dump it into Chat, Grok, and Gemini,
Okay.
and then compare the three, and you'll be like, "Holy crap!"
And
I'm
that's
telling you, you will be like, what's
really
going on here?"
okay.
This is crazy. There are some that you get back and it's not right, but you have to realize that, like, in human radiology, that is where AI is being used the most right
Yeah.
now.
I've seen some
Reading
things about that. I was
CTs,
wondering.
MRIs, right?
Yeah.
And that, my wife is so upset right now. She wants to buy another practice, and the one practice we're looking at has an MRI and CT machine, and she's like, "We don't want to read those." And I'm like, "Yeah, but
You
we
don't
could get
have
a program
to.
that could." Yeah,
Yeah.
we have a program that
Yeah.
could.
So
you
does
know,
she
it,
own her own practice?
well, I own the two.
Yeah.
So by default, yes, she was part owner of both,
Okay.
even though my name was on the ownership papers.
Yeah.
But no, we sold them both to corporate,
Right.
which was
Okay.
not the worst decision. Well, it was the best and the worst decision ever, because our associates had no interest in buying the practices. They
Oh,
had
okay.
no
I never
interest.
asked you why. I knew you sold, but I never asked why.
Yeah,
So
and well, my wife was done. She's like, I really don't want to deal with this stress anymore. And
okay.
me, I love the stress, And then obviously I got fired. Um, So, I mean, I spent
They
9 months of
fired you?
doing that. Yeah, they fired me.
Apparently you're not a good employee.
No, the CEO gave me his personal cell phone number because he knew I was having problems,
Okay.
and he acted like he was really interested. And then when the new COO came on, and his claim to fame was he was the VP of marketing at Equinox Gyms,
Oh.
and he came in to meet me, and he's like, "You know what, Dr. G, I've learned a lot in the 2.5 months I've been doing this." And I'm like, "So you're telling me the 25 years that I've owned practices, I didn't need to, I would have learned it in 2.5 months?"
Yeah.
So, anyways, that being said, I called the CEO. He answered the phone. I go, "You and your corporation are a fucking joke," and I hung up on him. And they got rid of me the next day.
Well,
Well, go figure. But I
yeah.
mean, I mean, the thing is, though, I had my regional manager look me in the eye and said everyone's replaceable.
Yeah.
And 8 months after me being gone, a practice that was opened up in 1956 was bankrupt.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and they're doing the exact same thing to my wife's practice now,
Okay.
and she's devastated because it was her dad's practice.
Oh, those are yeah.
He started it in '78, and and unfortunately, there are corporate groups that get it right, but there are corporate groups that get it so wrong, and unfortunately, the greater majority are on the so wrong
Mm-hmm.
part. Personally, that's why I think everyone should own their own practice, because you can set your culture, you can set everything up yourself. If you want to do shit for free, then do it for free. But just
Right.
make sure you're able to pay everyone and turn on your lights and
Yes.
pay your bank loans and all those things. Because the bank doesn't care if you do stuff for free or not. They just want to get paid.
Yes.
Right. So I mean, are there days you wake up and you just wake up in a cold sweat thinking, how am I going to pay everybody?
Not a cold sweat. Well, there was like one of the things I was like, I should text him, and then I was like, I'm not gonna bug him. But like I was wondering, like when you had one practice and you opened a second, I'm gonna assume you did it better than me. Like I just kind of go into things like whatever, what could go wrong. I can tell you all the things that can go wrong. Um, the it'll be 3 years that the new practice is open in April, and now I wish my loan was bigger. I'd saved more money. I didn't realize how expensive opening a new practice was going to be, and so yeah, for the first 2 years, like we're almost at three now. Things are a lot better. I was like, holy shit! Like I gotta borrow money from here. Can I wait to pay this bill? Like, can I wait to pay that bill? Like that inventory order to get us going was huge. Can I talk to them about like a payment plan to break that up? Like I was completely naive to the difference of buying a practice versus starting a practice. And because the first one I bought, the second one I opened. So yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm coming out of like that stress, but there was so many days the first 2 years easily, and moments probably in the third year of being like, oh my God, like, shoot, hold on, I gotta move this, figure this out. And for me, I kind of was like seesawing either between like, it's fine, I got it all works out, and holy cow, this might be the final straw that breaks it. Like, this is where it all comes down. And then it like teeters. I'm like, oh no, it's good, it's good. And then I'm like, no, now it's today. Now today is the day that like everyone sees what's going on, and I'm like not hiding it anymore. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was just me. Maybe there's other people that have gone through it too. But that's one of like things that have come up, and I've like wanted to text and be like, is it just me? Am I the only one in this situation at times, or that has been in this situation? Does this mean I'm failing? Does this mean I don't know what I'm doing, or is this normal? Because for me, I don't have like friends doing this. Like two of my best, I would call them like my best friends now. One owns an orthodontist, one owns a dermatology practice. So they own their own practices. They're doctors, they're moms. And thank God I have them, because one of them the other day was like, we brought on a new doctor and I had to like move money to cover payroll. She was like, I feel so embarrassed even saying that, but it feels better to tell you to get it off my chest. And it's like, okay, so it's not just me sometimes being like,
Nope.
holy cow.
No, it's
But
not.
it feels like it's just you, and it feels like you're faking it to everybody.
And the thing is that playing invoice bingo
Yeah.
is definitely,
Is that normal? It's not just me.
yes. Oh, well, dude, whether it's credit cards or lab bills or all that stuff. I mean, yeah, I mean, it is hard. And the biggest thing is, if you're going to go start a practice or buy a practice, you got to remember, number one, cash is king.
Yeah.
So if you can get a loan for 150% of what the practice is worth and you're able to cover it, do it. Secondly, you got to look at your fixed costs right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
What are your fixed costs? That's going to be your rent. That's going to be your insurance.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be your bank loan.
Yep.
That's going to be
What are
your
most bank loans?
equipment
Do you
loan.
know, like new practices that are opening? What are most bank loan terms? How many years?
Most of the time, you could do 30, you could do 15, 20, you could sometimes get 30.
So
20 is
mine
the
have been
longest I
7,
got.
and
Okay.
maybe I didn't do the
Yeah.
best in that term, but 7 is
Well,
aggressive in it. It
well,
feels
the thing is, interest rates have come down, and if you
yeah,
can refi it now, start
yeah,
over again, and then also get an interest only loan,
yeah,
right? Just get interest only. You
right,
want to make sure your overhead is as little as possible, because then you have more money to put stuff into practice. You have more money that's in the bank account. Now, when that becomes a problem, let's say you end the year with $100,000 in your bank account, you're going to get taxed on that 100 grand.
right.
So you got to figure out, okay, what makes the most sense. So, but there's also other things. If you are a practice owner, you should talk to a financial planner, because
Mm-hmm.
there are ways you can reduce some of your tax burden
Yeah.
and investing for your retirement in different certain things. My sister-in-law, it was started me on 79 plans, and basically they were insurance plans, life insurance plans, that once I hit my retirement age, I'm going to be paid $500,000 a year tax-free.
Okay.
There are things you can do, but you have to be a business owner.
Right.
Most associates, they don't understand that, they're W-2'd. The biggest thing I tell every veterinarian is, if you can incorporate yourself and get 1099, that is the way to go. I mean, as a business
What are
owner,
your thoughts? I was gonna say, what are your thoughts as a business? Like one of my doctors that we're bringing on, she's gonna stay, but she wants to be a 1099, and she wants a big reason for her is her health insurance. Like she's got specific things she wants, and she wants control over her health insurance plan, and she wants to be able to deduct it. So she wants to be a 1099. But as an employer, what are your thoughts on that?
I'm 100% behind it, because then all
Okay.
your workman's comp is not there. You don't have to pay her taxes. You don't have to do all that. You just pay her a flat rate, and you give her a W-9 at the end of the year, or it's the problem is that you got to realize, if you are 1099, that 50% of whatever you're making is going to go to taxes.
Well, yeah, but
And that,
that'll be her problem, not mine.
right,
But
right,
yeah,
exactly. But then you can write off your car, you can write off your
right.
uniforms, you can write off all your travel for CE. You
Yeah.
can write off your health insurance. You can write off part of your mortgage as a home office.
Right.
There are things in the tax code, and by no means, anyone listening, I am not a CPA. So
No.
you listen to any of the bullshit I spew, that's on you. But there are huge tax benefits. And I wanted to be 1099 when I was bought out by corporate, and they refused to do so because then they're like, well, then you're not part of the corporation.
I thought they wanted W-2 employees for other reasons.
Well, they probably do for some sort of tax write-off.
That's what I thought it was for tax. I thought,
It is.
I don't
It is.
know, but I
It is.
thought they needed W-2s to benefit them from like
I,
the way their P&Ls work or something.
my advice to you would be to talk to a financial advisor and a
Yeah.
CPA to see what
I've
they
hired
say.
new ones. So I'm, again, too, the stress of yours can wake up. I am tired of feeling like that. It is hard on me. I can tell when it starts to affect my kids, when it starts to affect, things at home.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like making it a point to make sure I'm not carrying that into next year. So I do have like a new CPA and different things that I finally feel like I also have like the time and the bandwidth to start, the past opening a practice is like running a marathon with no training, it feels like sometimes. So I feel like now I'm like, okay, what are the priorities for next year? Like this is the time. I'm a big fan of like goals, like a new year. Let's set some new goals. Maybe you revise them throughout the year, but like we're coming up on a new year. Like what are new goals for me, for the hospital, for my family? And so that's kind of where I am for like, I've got a new CPA lined up and like working with the financial planner and everything too.
So, what is the funniest thing your kids ever say that you do at work?
Oh, I don't know. I just know that whenever I start to get frustrated, I have like a deeply feeling kid. Is that what they're called? He'll be like, "Mom, do you want a hug?" I'm like, "If you touch me right now," but I'm like, "Yeah, buddy, can I have a hug?" But it's so hard for me because in my body, I'm like, "Do not touch me." Like if you were my husband, I would be like, "Don't touch me." But he's like, "Mom, do you need a hug?" And I'm like, "Yeah, buddy, I'll take a hug. Thank you." The funniest thing, I don't know. They come to work with me. I don't
Yeah.
know. I'll have to ask them. I'll ask them and get back to you.
When my oldest daughter was 3, she came in at an emergency splenectomy at 2:00 on a Saturday. Hemoabdomen. I went in and did it because they couldn't afford to go anywhere else. And when we were done, she had a mask on and a cap and a gown,
Oh, that's
and
cute.
she was watching it. And when we were done, I took off my gown, and she's like, "Dad, Mom's going to be so mad at you. You have the bleed all over."
Oh my God. That's
So,
great.
I mean, there's so many things about practice that you could look at and just laugh at. I said a lot of the things and a lot of the problems that stress us are out most of the time are temporary.
Yeah, I mean,
And
I know
and
like
if
it's
they're not,
cliche,
then
but it's like
you're not in the right place.
don't spend 5 minutes on something that won't last or won't matter in 2 hours or whatever. Like it's kind of a cliche saying, but it's true. Like my 4-year-old will be like, "Mom, calm down. It is okay." Um, but no, it's true. I think I don't know. We're lucky to be in this career. And what are your goals for this podcast? Brought up goals because I watch your TikToks and I've been trying to like them and interact and stuff. But then I did kind of wonder. I was like, I wonder what his goals are like for this, like for
My
the
goal,
podcast, for the TikTok page, like what
well,
And
okay,
we just talked about goals. Like, what are your goals for this?
okay, well, my goal is now that I'm in my second career. The funny thing is, I left veterinary medicine after, man, being in it since 1990, and I still didn't feel fulfilled.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized what I loved doing was educating, mentoring young professionals. That really was the best for me. That's the part I loved. I want to make sure that I help as many young professionals understand that they're not the only ones going through it and that this profession is great. With TikTok, I'm trying to I put together VetMed HQ for them to understand that there's a whole community of people that are here to help you. They're
Mm-hmm.
here to look at the crap that we go through and laugh at it. Here to understand that, we all have those days, those moments, those situations, and you will get through it and you still will love the profession.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, ultimately, what are my goals? My goals are to see what I can do to help the profession get healthier again. I think the profession needs to be disrupted. I think the education system needs to be disrupted. I think the leadership needs to be disrupted. And I think with the VetMed HQ, all of us together as one voice is going to be a lot bigger than if we have 30 to 60 to 100 separate voices going at them. I think I want them to realize that they think no one's really seeing what they're doing and what's going on. And I just think a lot of people are just too afraid to say something. And if we could say something as a group, we're going to be more powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, I would love to be a dean of a vet school. I would love to be, and I'd give up part of my salary for them to hire someone just for fundraising. I just want to be there with the students. I want to be in the classrooms. I want to always be in open town hall, ask me anything type thing. I want them to understand that, that's what we're doing. I think a lot of problems, like my dean, I had Dean Valley at Illinois. He would be in the classrooms. You'd see him at least once a week in one of your classes, and he'd be asking questions. And if you saw him in the hallway, he would be asking how everything's going, how the family is, how they're doing, all these things. Like, he truly was there for the students. Where now I look at most of the schools, the deans are there to raise funds for a new building or a new this or a new that. Yeah, I understand we need to evolve and we need to keep expanding and we need to keep growing. But you cannot forget the main reason that you're even able to do that is because of the 4 years worth of class cohorts that you are in charge of. And I think somewhere along the line we lost that.
Mm-hmm.
We did. You loved your dean, didn't you?
I did. I still need to email him after our last chat, Dr. Johnson at Auburn. But I felt like I'll take that back. The dean that was there when I was there was fine. I didn't know him well. The dean that is now the dean at Auburn, Dr. Johnson, he was faculty when I was there. But the way he interacted with faculty, I like to think is or the way he interacted as faculty with the students, I like to think is how he's continuing to be with the students. I'm not there, I don't know. But the interactions he had, and like I remember showing up in his office. He's a pathologist at like 4 o'clock on a Friday, being like, "Could you please just look at this one slide? I can't let these people go all weekend not knowing. Like, is it cancer or not? Could you please?" And he sat there with me, and we looked at it. He gave me the information, so not if it wasn't typed up yet, but I could at least go to those people and be like, "Okay, unofficially, this is what it is. This is what we're gonna do." And since I left, like, he's continued to email me, and I feel like we have a good relationship. I like to think he's that dean that you're describing. I'm not there, but in my head, hopefully he's still, the same person to those students that he was as a faculty member when I was there.
How do you think it would be if all the vet schools had GPs as deans, not faculty members that are alumni of the school? Do you think you'd have a different type of educational experience?
I mean, there's some of my classmates that are GP that I don't think you should be dean. I don't know. I think, like, you're different because, like, you owned a practice and you sold a practice, and like but I don't think any GP should like a GP that's only worked at Banfield. I don't know that they're going to be as qualified to
But I
be a
don't think a
dean.
GP. Well, I'm also getting my higher degrees to set me up for it.
Right.
I'm
So
not
that's what
saying
I
just
mean. Like,
a DVM should go in and do it. But I mean, like, I mean, I'm just thinking, like, how do we disrupt this educational system? Why are so many students coming out saying, I'm just worried about getting sued? Where does that conversation come up? First year, second year, third year,
I don't
fourth
know.
year?
Yeah, I I don't know the answer to that. It's a
But they know
scary
that
thought, but
they're going
that's
to get sued, but they don't know the steps to avoid. They think
right.
if they mess up, they're going to get sued. No. If you don't communicate with
Right.
clients,
I was gonna say, yeah.
you're going to get sued.
I think we were always taught, at least when I was at school, that like good communication was the key, and that was the reason why most veterinarians didn't have the lawsuits that human medicine had. Whether or not that's true, I don't know the statistics, but I think that's how I was educated: was communication is key. That's what's going to differentiate you from these other professions where the lawsuits are so high. And now maybe that's not what the vet schools are teaching, and maybe that's not what they all like. Maybe Auburn still does because they're the best vet school, but um that's what we always taught. Like, the communication is the best. Like, if the communication is clear, you're gonna be okay.
You're going to be okay. And if you write up your records good, you're going to cover your assets.
Yeah, my records are.
Yeah. Well, that's where AI comes in.
Yes.
Because there's also the flip side where you write too much in the chart and
Yes.
you write up charts for 5 hours a day after your
Yes.
shift,
Right.
right? The next thing you know, you're there 18 hours a day.
Yeah, no one's got time for that.
No one has time for that. So
My phone might die soon. I'm at
well,
2%, so I don't
well,
want it to die on you.
no, well, I was about to say, talking of time, you got to get back. You got actual patients to see.
I do. I got a
You
bunch of
do.
new ones. They're in
That,
here in a different color. New client to establish. They requested me. Those are always good. The ones you get that's
yep.
like they wanted to see you, but you don't know who they are. So
That means someone said something good about you somewhere.
hopefully. And then what else? These people moved from California. Let's see. Maybe it's your vet.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, they haven't sent their records in yet, so I'm not sure. And then, but at least the last couple I have this afternoon, most of them specifically requested me to, so that's good.
So when you
But
see
then
those
I'm like, I hope
California,
I live up to the hype. Like, I
yeah,
don't know
what
here,
when you
but
see
like,
those California people, find out. Just say, hey,
I will.
I just
Yeah,
got
their
off the
records aren't in
conversation.
here yet, so hopefully
Okay.
soon.
Well, it was good talking to you, and then I'm looking forward to part 3. But
Okay.
write down the
Am I doing
things that
okay?
piss
Am I
you off.
answering? Am I?
Yes.
What'd you say?
Just keep writing down things that piss you off. Please keep texting me because I love it. Because I mean, without communication, and I mean, for everything you have said you have had, I've had it too, and we can
Yeah.
go back and forth. So
The one
just
thing I
remember,
don't like
you're
I
not in
always
a silo.
I feel like some vets feel like they have to be competitive with others. And like when I bought my first practice, it was like, oh, that vet. I'm like, there's enough pets for all of us. And then when I opened the second one, apparently a vet talked trash about me. Like, why did she have to open a second one? She already has one. Like, what do you care? Like, there's enough dogs in this town. If you're corporate now, anyways. Like, if you do your job good and I do my job well, like, why why are you spending I'm sure you have enough on your plate that I don't need to be on your list of concerns. Like I don't you're not on mine. So why are you worrying about me? If we could and we would be so much better if it's like I think it's awesome she's opening because we're not taking new clients. Now we have somewhere we can tell people to go. Like I know we're trying to end and I'm gonna run out of battery, but that's one thing I think is we're like, why is there competition? There's so many pets in this town we'd be so much better if when I'm here by myself and I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. I could call and just be like, oh shoot, you're a vet and I'm a vet and we're right around the street. Like, why are we against each other in this world?
Because they're not secure in how good they don't have confidence in themselves. I never saw any other veterinarian as competition because I knew how
That's
good I was.
and that's what I tell the staff anytime. They're like, I'm like, guys, there are so many pets. Our job is to do our job the best. Even if I lost a vet and they went like to another vet and like, are you worried about records getting transferred? No. Like if they like that vet so much that they want to follow them, they should. Because like they're offering something I can't and like let them go. But our job is to keep doing our job as well as we can, that people don't want to leave, that they're so happy here that they'll switch to a different vet. But also if they do want that vet, they should go, they should follow them. That is then I did a great job helping that vet become good enough to like branch out and go somewhere else.
And that means you did your job as a mentor, which is absolutely amazing.
Well, I didn't mean it like that. That wasn't my point. But you know, I
Yeah, but
just
no, but you did. I mean, the thing is, like, yeah, you don't want your associates to leave,
right,
and if they do, they do. And
right,
most of the time, they say it's because of money, and it's never because of money.
right.
It's
Yes.
because they just don't have the courage to tell you the real reason. And
Yeah.
again, never look as another vet as competition because the second you do, you're showing that you don't have confidence in your own skills.
Right. I think that's a huge thing, and maybe that's a conversation too. But I
Yeah.
think just most, like, we all went to school, we all did the time, we all took the test. Like, why are we all not like in it together?
Okay, I'm gonna let you go, but I got one last question.
Oh God, do I have to come up with a truth?
No,
Okay.
would you rather do a major surgery or 10 ear infections in a row?
I listened to one of these that you did the other day, and I was like, that person's crazy. Are they good dogs? And I like the people.
Give me that surgery. That's what I say nowadays. Give me that surgery. But hey,
Yeah.
it was great talking to you again. Part 3, I'm sure, is going to be coming up soon. Keep texting me.
Okay.
And to all the listeners out there, if you have anything you want us to talk about, please let us
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
We don't hold anything back here.
I'll try to be more honest. If I am holding it back, I'll try to be more honest. And I made my Instagram the same as my TikTok, and they are veterinarian now.
There you go. There you go. You listen to me. You're learning.
I'm listening.
Okay. Well, have a great day, and we'll talk to you all soon.
Bye. Thank you.